Shekhar, thank you so much for joining us today. It is my sincere pleasure. When I first got to know you, I just observing and you doing all the talking, I thought, this is a match made in heaven. I am so proud to look forward to serving under your leadership in the upcoming Rotary year. Thank you very much for saying yes to being our Rotary International President. So I am sitting in Marshfield, Wisconsin. Marshfield, Wisconsin is a classic Wisconsin rural community. The population density of Marshfield, Wisconsin is 3.5 thousand per square kilometer. The population of the county in which it sits is 95 people per square kilometer. The population density of where you are sitting is 24,000 per square kilometer. So if you were here with me, you'd have a hard time finding a person if you went outside. So there are many, many differences, but that's what we love about Rotary service, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So our district conference is designed around Rotary's strategic priorities. So I thought, what better thing than to spend time with you talking Rotary values and vision. And so the questions are around that, so we can see the heart and mind of Shekhar Mehta.
Sure, it's absolutely open for you.
Okay, very good. So my first question is around the Rotary value of fellowship. When you think about your most authentic and meaningful relationships, what people come to mind? What do you enjoy most about your deepest fellowship, and what people have influenced you most?
So in Rotary, I am impressed by people who are furthering the cause of Rotary. That binds me very well with people. If I find there is someone who's doing amazing projects and outstanding projects, I'm deeply impressed by that. So when I find people who do some amazing projects, that impresses me a lot. I quickly learn from them. If at all I have done some meaningful project, it's because I've emulated people, I've seen them do great work. So that impresses me a lot. I quickly connect with those people. Otherwise, for any fellowship or friendship, trust, faith, reciprocation is extremely important, sincerity, caring for each other. And in Rotary, you can find by the dozens people, because they are all good people wanting to do good in the world. When you want to do good in the world, your heart is pure. And you come out very honestly. And there's one thing, I always take people on the face value. And I'm very happy doing that. So I connect with people who are normally wanting to help other people and who are furthering the cause of Rotary. That's as far as Rotary is concerned. Personal life, of course, you keep meeting people. As I said, their reciprocation, faith, trust, sincerity, all of these are very important.
Yes, and your beautiful life partner, Rashi, too.
Oh, yes.
We look forward to getting to know her better, too.
That's one place where I take it for granted. Amazing woman she is. What great support she is for me. And I let her take me for granted too.
Okay.
So that's because we now know each other for 45 years. We knew each other even much before we got married. So when we were just in school, probably, we knew each other. So that's great. Trust with each other. We can bank on each other. That's a different relationship altogether.
Yes, but your love for one another is very clear. So it's good. On the value of leadership, who are your leadership role models? And will you tell us a story of excellent Rotary leadership?
Outside Rotary, I'm deeply impressed by Gandhi. That man was an amazing man. not only because he brought, he played one of the biggest roles as far as independence of India was concerned, but his thought process was amazing, amazing. Things like basics, like things like truth, things like service, thinking of other people, righteousness, etc., came very normally, very naturally to that person. That in Rotary, I'm deeply impressed by Paul Harris's thought process. If you read his books, if you read his quotes, they are timeless, I find. To say that tolerance is the cornerstone of Rotary is an amazing thought process. To say that Rotary will have to be evolutionary always and revolutionary sometimes, how true it is. And aren't we seeing that right now?
We are.
We are. So I really love his thought process, absolutely. And if I have to relate to leadership of a person that I know in Rotary, I would say it's past President Kalyan Banerjee. Kalyan Banerjee, outstanding human being, outstanding Rotarian, and the best thing I like about him is very rarely will you find a person who's more humble. To me, the biggest trait of a very successful leader, so you have other traits, so you become successful, but post becoming successful, if you are humble, then that is your biggest trait. And to me, that's extremely, extremely important, and which I find in him in abundance, absolutely.
Thank you. Value of integrity. In situations where integrity matters, courage is often required. Can you tell us about a time or two that you witnessed Rotarians maintaining integrity at personal cost? Always.
Aren't we all doing things for other people at our personal costs? I mean, I myself have seen so many people, even in my own case, had I devoted all this time that I do for, let's say, all the time that I spend for doing good for other people, if I were to spend for myself in my business, I mean, my business probably would have been far more successful than what it is, because you do devote some time extra to doing what you are doing at Rotary. So it's all at a personal cost. When you do something good, there is a personal cost to it. Sometimes it's the family which suffers. Sometimes it is the business which suffers. Despite the fact that you do multitasking, you do the best of everything. But to achieve anything which is good for other people, it always requires sacrifice. Show me one person, one man or woman in history who did great things, and at the bottom was written, this person did not sacrifice anything. It's never so. So we all do sacrifice. As far as integrity is concerned, I think we all try to live by the four-way test. Rotary, over a period of time, Rotary makes you a better human being. It does. Goodness for other people does not come at being wicked. You have to be good at heart. Only then can you become good to other people. So I think that's very important. Integrity, I've seen example after example that people have stood by the four-way test. They've stood by principles in Rotary. They've not cared what it would take for that person or not. My own personal example, although you did not ask, but if I'm proud of one of the recent things that I've done, it was, and I told Rashi that day when I got out of that meeting was to elect the president 2 years before I got nominated. I was on the nominating committee. And Sushil Gupta was one of the candidates from India. Now, if Sushil Gupta became and I was quite ready to put in my nominations, but I was on the nominating committee. If Sushil Gupta became the president, my turn for president would have come up quite a few years later. And that day, somehow, all the arguments that I placed for Sushil Gupta, yes, of course, his personality, his resume, everything was great. But I think I was quite a lawyer that day for Sushil Gupta there, because I felt he deserved to become. The moment he became, I told Rashi, today you'll be proud of me because I did something which was totally selfless. I went and voted for a person who's becoming the president would delay my becoming the president, if at all I was to become, by many years. But that day I did what was right. To me, there are so many such examples with everyone. Everyone does sacrifice something or the other.
That is a great story. Thank you. On the topic of diversity. So India's culture and people have influenced me in really important ways. I'm very grateful. How do you hope the Rotary world might benefit from understanding your country and people better and appreciate what India has to offer us?
So, India is a kaleidoscope, absolutely. You said you've been to India. Every 200 kilometers, the language changes. The state which is next to me, I don't understand their language, 50% of their language. Go one more state, I don't understand 1% of their language. And below there, you go to every state for 7 more states, I don't understand their language. I go eastwards, I understand only 50% of their languages. If I go westwards, I understand probably 25% of their language. That is the diversity of a country. So many languages, so many dialects, so many religions, so many faiths, so many thought processes, and yet we tick as a country. Beautiful country to see also. Yes, there are some, when you come from the Western world, probably more advanced countries. We are still a developing country in the sense that, our roads may not be as good as other places, but we have matchless forts. We have matchless beaches, the mountains, the natural beauty, the national parks, the tigers, the rhinos, everything beautiful. The cities are beautiful. And as far as Rotary is concerned, I say it's the jewel in the crown of Rotary. Not because I come from India, not at all because of that, but it's very simple. Look at it. We are the fastest growing, highest growing membership in Rotary. We are the second highest givers to the Rotary Foundation for years now. And when $1 is equal to 75 of our currency, 75 rupees, at purchase power parity, we should be 22 times for $1. So 22 rupees is equal to $1. So that way we may even be ahead of what the US contributes. So we do well there. But the most important thing I find is the projects and programs that we do, which is doing good in the world. What good would be our Rotary Foundation if we were not putting this into action? And action, it is India where the action takes place. I'm told if we are at number 1 at the global grant with $22 million worth of projects, the next country is doing projects worth at $4 million. So take it as a whole package. I think Rotarians are quite dedicated also because there are huge needs. People here are smart, they learn fast. So they are able to do global grants, they understand Rotary well, they love it. They find a lot of respect in Rotary. That's another reason why growth is there. So all in all, it's a great thing that's happening in Rotary. And it's cyclical. It has happened in the US earlier. It has happened in Europe earlier. Everything in this world is cyclical, just as our wheel itself is.
Very good imagery there. Well, we're really happy to acknowledge India as the jewel in Rotary's crown. On the topic of Rotary service, the value of service, which you've touched on everywhere, of course, because it's part of our motto. Can you talk a little bit about how service has changed you as a person and what people and experience have grown your appreciation for service?
So I think service has been the biggest influencer in my life. And it's been because of Rotary. I always keep saying I joined Rotary not for service. I wanted to make friends. Somebody asked me to join. My parents were in Lions. I understood what the organization was. I said, okay. I used to find Lions great fun. I joined Rotary. I joined to make friends. That's it. But slowly I started doing these projects, going to the villages, seeing the conditions of people, and that started changing my thought process. For once, I realized that the world was not just ivory. There was ivory and ebony, and they existed next to each other. And I could see the plight that these people lived in, the places, their homes. I mean, their homes were such that you could not stand straight inside their homes, made out of mud. This is about 30, 35 years back. They did not have toilets in their homes. The water that they fetched for drinking was from the same pond where they bathed and at times their buffaloes bathed. So as I started understanding their problems, I started serving because of my club. And when I started serving, I realized that it was such a great satisfaction. Over a period of time, I realized that if I am spending so much time, by this time I was progressing in the hierarchy of Rotary also. Every stage that I moved a little further, I realized that this was a greater opportunity for me to be able to serve more people. Each time I thought it broadened my horizon for service. To me, that's what exactly it is. When I became the director, I immediately had to think that I have to now widen my horizon. If I'm the president, I still look that it's very important that I not only widen my horizon, but also the horizon of everyone that I connect with. To me, that should be my goal, that I widen the horizon both for growth of Rotary as well as growth of service through Rotary. So service has become a very important, extremely important part of my life. So much so that about 12, 13 years back, Rashi and I decided the rest of our lives, we will devote only for doing good for other people. And it so happens that all of this would happen because and through Rotary. So much so that the guiding mantra of my life itself has become, service is the rent I pay for the space I occupy on this earth. And Karen, I want to be a good tenant.
Yes, thank you. All of that is lovely, and I'm just feeling so much gratitude that both you and I joined Rotary and all the gifts of opportunity that it gives us.
It's a pleasure that we will serve together.
Yes. Shifting now to learn about our president-elect through the lens of Rotary vision. And it's a little repetitive, I'm afraid, but maybe the question will take you somewhere else. The third part of the vision is lasting change in ourselves.
Oh, yes.
When you look ahead, what lasting changes are in yourself are you still looking forward to?
The level of service now has to go at the highest possible level. If in the organization whose motto is service above self, I have reached the highest level, my personal contribution, my personal vision also, and I should be able to share that vision for others and let them feel it is their vision also. So various speeches that I keep giving, I always say, Rotary now has to play a role in nation building. Now somebody may say, oh, what role can Rotary play? Well, haven't we played a role in the world itself by nearly eradicating a disease? Which other organization has eradicated a disease in mankind's history? So we are people who can do such things. Networking is an amazing power that we have. There isn't a problem we cannot solve. So, and for everything there has to be a pilot. For me, that pilot and the ground where I can try that pilot is India. Because that's where I live. So if I am asking others to do something, I need to show it that yes, it is possible to do, and I have done it, so I'll ask you. Karen, I always ask other people only to do things that I feel I have done or I have a plan how to do it, not otherwise. I will not ask others to do anything for which I don't have a plan or I have not done it. So when I say play a role in the nation building, I'll give you an example. We started a program that we will make India totally illiterate. As crazy a dream as eradicating polio from the world. For the second most populous country in the world and the highest illiteracy in the world, the country which has, we agreed that we will make it totally illiterate. I was given the charge, no idea of what's to be done, but met people, understood, and finally we came up with a product 5 years back called the Teach program. I tell you, in 5 years, we had to do very little tweaking because we probably had to hit the bullseye. We understood what was needed for the country. Now the situation is that government after government is seeking our support to do programs and projects in India. During the pandemic, for 12 months, children are all sitting at home, unable to study. So the only means of study is what? Online or television. In a country like India, not everybody has online facilities. But television is there. Or at least they can share the television with the neighbor. If at all required, everybody nearly has television. But there needs to be content. I'm proud to say all of India's children, 100 million children right now, and sometime later in 3 months' time, probably 250 million children, every day throughout the day will see, read, understand, comprehend the content prepared by Rotary. Every day, at least 20 times, they will see the name of Rotary on the television. 250 million children will grow up knowing the name of Rotary, and in most crucial times, Rotary would have helped. To me, that is the role Rotary plays in the nation building process. We are changing the entire education, the way education is being done in India, and it happened because of the pandemic. Otherwise, it would have taken us a long time to be able to reach out to the government in every part of India, but we could do it. So I say, to me now, that is the ultimate goal. Each country, what we've done in India is possible to do in every African country. It's absolutely possible to do in Pakistan, Nepal, Bangladesh, Myanmar, other places, Vietnam, etc., where this is one example. There are many other examples which can be done, and Rotarians are quite capable of it.
So, like many of the questions, your answers anticipated my next question because you are living Rotary vision and values. It's just beautiful. But on the topic of creating lasting change in your community, and in this case, your country, could you tell us a little bit more about how that successful literacy project, which is underway, came together?
So as I was telling you, we just took a decision that, polio had gone already from India. And I said, India is a vibrant country. Rotary thrives here because of the programs and projects that we do. So now all Rotary clubs could not just wait for the entire year just to give the polio drops on those days when there were national immunization days. Or they could do the fundraising maybe on 1, 2, 5, 10 days. But what would they do the rest of the years, rest of the time? So they wanted to do, and everybody was wanting to have one big program where they could focus on. And unanimously, they came up that we want to do the literacy program. So we took up the literacy program, and well, once you have tasted blood, so to say, when you have said we have eradicated a disease, now you want to eradicate every bad thing, and illiteracy in India became that thing. So, okay, it was an easy statement to say that, okay, we will make India totally literate. But little did we know what we are getting into. But now when so many years have passed, maybe 6 years have passed, I find it was a good thing. And I tell you, I've always believed Rotary is all about courage. You said a little while back, integrity and courage. Rotary is totally, I feel, about courage. When you want to do such crazy stuff, all you need is not the mind, you need the heart and the courage. Imagine the people who wanted to eradicate polio, had they applied their mind even more, they would never have taken it up. Had they ever anticipated that 34 years later, in the year 2020, they would have to raise another $2.2 billion, I bet they would not have taken up the project. No. 34 years later, imagine if you have to raise 2.2 billion in today's terms, that day it will become much higher. Would anybody want to take up the project? So it's all about feeling, having the courage that yes, we will try to do it. And again, Gandhi said a beautiful thing. He said, find the goal and the means will follow. So that's what we did for literacy. We found the goal and the means are following. So we developed a program called Teach, Teacher Support, e-learning, adult literacy, child development, happy schools. So that was the acronym. It became a holistic program which took care of the teachers, the child, and the infrastructure, which is the school. It also took care of the people who were not literate. Now, today, India's population is 1.35 billion. 20% of this population is adult illiterate. 20% is adult illiterate, which is 270 million people, and which is 33% of the world's totally illiterate people. But India's enrollment into school rate is 94%. Then why is this dichotomy? The dichotomy is because the adults aren't getting enrolled into schools. So we said we will take care of that adult literacy program. And we did a pilot where 100,000 children were asked during their summer holidays to teach one adult each. Each one, teach one. And they did it. And I tell you, they were so excited to do it. And I went and spoke to the education minister, and he loved the idea. He said, when I was a kid, I used to do this. He said, Shekhar, let's immediately go to my office. We went to his office. He immediately called the bureaucrats. Everybody loved the idea. And it set the ball rolling, so much so that the plan that the government now has made for adult literacy, the draft plan document itself mentions Rotary at 4 different places. Rarely a government document says for implementation of this, we want to take help of organizations like Rotary India Literacy Mission. And now we are all set, but for the pandemic, we would have already started. We have now tied up with various other organizations which have millions of people as their members. They are all raring to go to make India totally literate in the next 6 years' time. So that's 72 months. It is 73 years of independence, and our literacy rate is at 74%. In the next 73 months, we will make it beyond 95%.
Bravo.
And I've said this not just to you, to every minister in India, they know it, to the Prime Minister of India, to the President of India. And one thing I always do is if there is a plan, and if there is a plan how to implement it, I always like to share it in public platforms. So we all get committed. We have now no escape route. We have to do it. Just as we did for polio. There is no escape for us. We have to eradicate polio. So that has been, and what I really like is more than 90% of the clubs in India have participated in this program. They love the program.
Wow.
And oh yes, 90%. And we have data. The best part is we have data of which are the clubs who participated in what project, etc. It's been a program that took Rotary in India by a storm, so to say, a few years back. And now everybody knows what's to be done. We're just waiting for the pandemic to end. And I'm sure we will reach the goal that we have set.
Congratulations. What a great story. My one big takeaway is no escape route.
Absolutely.
All right. 2 questions are left. One specific and the next open-ended in case there's anything I didn't ask that you wish I would have. Sure. On the topic of lasting change around the world, if you imagine yourself 5 years from now, maybe 10, and you're looking at Rotary as a global organization, what would make you most proud to observe about Rotary?
What I said just now, that we start doing programs and projects at a scale very few other organizations can do. I feel we are a 116-year-old organization amongst the oldest. We are one of the biggest, 1.2 million people across every part of the world. We have a legacy of a program like eradication of polio, nearly eradicated. For such an organization, we now need to play a role in nation building. And let's start with small nations. It is not difficult to go into small African nations and maybe set their water system correct. set their education system correct, help them with that. Maybe 10 districts in the US can come with 20 global grants in just one district in Africa, in one Rotary, one country in Africa, and change it. It may mean a few $1 million, but look at the impact. Tomorrow, proudly, we can say we changed the education system in the X country in Africa. Just as today, I say, 6 years later, we will be able to say we made India totally literate. We've told the government we will do 50% of it. You do 50% of the 270 million people. We will ensure that 50% of them are trained by us, by each one teach one. You do the rest of it. And the government is agreeable to do that. They will also do it. So I feel the biggest lasting change that we can do is when we take up projects and programs of such scale, governments will join us. Why will they not? But if our projects are small, they will not be interested. And unless we work with the government, then we will not be able to make an impact. Imagine what impact we would have made had we not worked for polio with every government in every country. Would we have been able to eradicate polio in India without working with the government of India? No. So I think our work, our maturity as an organization is so beautiful that is the level we should be working at.
Yes. I have to say I've witnessed recently a number of past Rotary International presidents engaging with this vision of scale, and I'm really encouraged by it. So final question, open. Anything you'd like to tell our District 6250 Rotarians that we haven't covered?
So I've said everything that I had to. One thing which you haven't asked, and that I tell everyone, starting today, let each one bring one. So I'm asking Karen, you, and through you, your entire district, every Rotarian, to try and do in the next 17 months what we have not been able to achieve in the last 17 years. So you'll say, but how is that possible? So I'll give you the example of the vaccine. The vaccine for polio took 28 years. The vaccine for Ebola took 4 years. The vaccine for COVID has taken only 9 months. The first computer I saw was 40 years back. In Calcutta University, I had to go to a university to see a computer. It was 60 feet long. Today, the computer is 6 inches long. So it is possible. Let's not worry what we were not able to do in 17 years, we won't be able to do. All we need to do is so simple. Each one, just bring one. That's all. And I tell you, we will break this jinx of 1.2 million, which I've been hearing for the last nearly 20 years. I mean, all of us, can we not just get one member? We can. And I tell you, whenever I go to the Zoom meetings or in-person meetings, I ask people who will do it. And the response is amazing, amazing. This is it. So Karen, go back with all your presidents, ask them, and you will find 99% will raise their hands. Ask the presidents to go to their clubs and ask the members. And I tell you, at least 90% will say yes. Thereafter, it is only a matter of follow-up and converting that hands to a member. So that's a message I would like to leave, because more members means more funding to Rotary, more funds to Rotary Foundation, larger and better, bigger projects we can do, bigger, better, bolder projects, only possible when we have more members, more hands to serve. And of course, you'll listen to some of the things on 1st of February. What is the other focus that we will have? Not that it's a secret, I keep telling it everywhere, but this one let me leave for your district to listen. Maybe you'll listen on the 1st of February and the rest will listen whenever you transmit it to them. My focus would be and I'm asking everyone's focus to be on empowering girls. Now, somehow, in different parts of the world, there is some discrimination against women and girls. In a time when DEI is so important, it's very important that we remove any discrimination, any disadvantage that girl may face. So empowering girls will be the overarching theme for all the work we do in all areas of focus or anything that we do in Rotary. So membership, large projects, and focus on empowering girls. These are just the messages I would like to leave.
You can be sure that District 6250 will join you in both of those efforts, Shekhar. It'll be our honor.
Wonderful.
Thank you so much for joining us today. It has been such a pleasure, and we look forward to your leadership. And we wish you all the best as you move into this role, that it's deeply satisfying to you and to Rashi.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Karen. It's been wonderful.